Hey there! Today we're going to have a look at this notebook by Dingbats, and this was sent to me by Mo of Dingbats. I really appreciate it, and I think this notebook has some interesting features. So before I show you how the paper performs, I thought we would first go over a couple of features, and there's quite a couple of interesting ones. So first of all, there are different series in the Dingbats notebooks. There is the Wildlife series and the Earth series. This is part of the Earth series, and this is the Serengeti version of this notebook. Orange cover, and it has a Serengeti based embossing. Okay, so that's one feature. You can get different colors of cover if you prefer that, and as I said, you can also get them in different sizes. This is the A5 Plus. Now I had to look that up. A5 is 148 by 210 millimeters exactly. This notebook is 160 by 215 millimeters, so it is indeed just a little bigger than A5. Elastic strap, which is quite tight, works well, and also a nice feature here is this little pen loop, which works. It's not one for super fat pens, but that's kind of what you would expect. But a normal size pen fits in there without issues, so that is quite nice. This particular model runs for $17.95. That is pounds. In US that would be about 22 at the time of shooting this, and so that's about the price you're looking at. Now, what other features does this notebook have that are very interesting? First of all, something that I really liked is that the cover it feels like leather, but it is, they call it vegan leather. So it is a fake leather, right? But for my vegan friends, that is quite nice. So I like that. If you open up the notebook, the first thing you see is this, I think, quite attractive infographic about, in this case, the Serengeti. You know, which I think is quite nice. So there is that, and then you flip that over, you got these Serengeti type animals, which I think is kind of cute too. You have your little label to put your name and address in, and then you have sort of an instruction on two of the features that I think are quite cool, and I don't know if they are absolutely unique, but I don't remember having seen this in a notebook recently. So the first thing is the marking of the pages by the tabs. Okay, so each page, the paper is dotted, and I'll come back to the paper, but the pages have these tabs. Can you see them? Right, there's tabs. So if you color them and you put an index on this tab page, like homework, and then you color in this tab, and then every time you write homework you color that specific tab, and the side of the notebook will kind of have the tab coloring, and it will be very easy for you to flip to whatever it is you need to flip to, which I think is quite nice. Now, another thing that they suggest, which I think is quite nice, is to use what they call dingbats, which they give an example of right here. So it's a simple geometric shape, which you can use to also mark your pages. Here, on the next page, they have an index for your dingbat. So this geometric shape, you can use these dots to create some sort of shape, triangles, squares, etc., right? And then use that as a type of reference to quickly see on a page, depending on your specific code, what exactly something is, which I think is nice too. Or you could use a color key. So they really encourage your creativity in using this notebook, which I think is a lot of fun. Now, beyond that, you also have a more traditional table of contents, an index, and then you have the paper, and the paper is dotted. Now it starts with a future log, right? And then after that, which does not have those tabs on the side of the page, and then after that you get your normal pages with the tabs, and that's pretty much it. You get two bookmarks. One is black and the other one is orange. You can see it here. Same principle. You get 184 pages to write on. Okay, so 184, that's the final page. On the back of that there are no dots. Okay, then you have more animals, and then all the way in the back you have an accordion pocket, and as I said, you have that loop, and I yanked this pretty hard and it was secure, so that's actually quite nice. What else was I going to say? It is 184 pages. It is non-perforated paper. The website lists 16 micro-perforated pages. I could not find them, so I don't know if that was for another notebook or if they decided to not do that anymore. In any case, I couldn't find them, so there was that. The website also explains, and that is also, they also go into quite some detail in this little booklet that accompanies the notebook, that these notebooks are created by B.R.E in Lebanon. It actually says here, my great-great-grandfather established one of the first paper shops in Lebanon in the early 19th century, trading high-quality paper more or less continuously from then until the present day. So that's Jamal Bagdash saying that. I think that's really neat to go with a very old traditional paper shop, and Dingbats makes quite a big deal of that. It's explained on the website. There's a picture of the old shop front on the website in Lebanon, which I think is really cool. What confused me a little bit is that it then at the bottom here says made in Turkey, 4K Bagdash Efi. So what is it? Is it Lebanon or is it Turkey? I'm a little confused. Maybe only this thing was printed in Turkey. I don't know. That's neither here nor there. So they have it. What about the paper? Yes, glad you asked. 100 grams per square meter. It is coated and it is cream colored, which is quite nice on the eyes. And I have found the paper to be nice. It is not perfect. It is not perfectly fountain pen friendly, but it is nice paper. Of course, I'm going to do an extensive test. I will do that right now. Then you get to see the paper in action and you can make your own decision and form your own opinion on whether you really like it or not. So let's do that now. Mo, thank you for sending me this notebook. I appreciate it. Let's see how it performs. Okay, so let's have a look at, I'll start a whole new page just for you. Let's see how this notebook performs. So, first I have a fine nib. This is a custom 3D printed pen from the UK, okay? It will be reviewed at some point, or at this point probably has been reviewed. Oh. The ink is B.R.E. brown. I'll come back to that pen because that happens to be titanium nib, so I can flex it a bit. Here we have a medium pen, medium nib. This is the Visconti Opera Elements. This is a medium nib, and the ink is Ackermann Delftsblauw. Washable blue, I thought that would be interesting to put in here as well, and also a pretty wet nib. Okay. Then a broad nib. This is a Visconti Opera Master. Tobacco. Oh, terrible spacing here, I am sorry. Broad nib, 18K. The ink is again B.R.E. brown. Pen World magazine called this the best pen and ink pairing in the world. Maybe. Next, slightly finicky nib, but 1.3 millimeter italic on this Visconti Speakeasy. Palladium nib. Ink is Visconti Turquoise. Then I thought we would start to do some fancy stuff. So here is a Fountain Pen Revolution Darjeeling with an Ultra Flex nib. I'm not going to write the whole sentence just for the sake of time. And also this is a Pelican ink. Pelikan 4001 green. And as we were flexing, I'll do a second flex. I mean, who said men have long refractory periods? I mean, I can have flex twice in a row. There we go. That was again B.R.E. brown, now in this titanium flexi nib. Then I thought we would do this Classic Pens LM1. This is A for architect, so this would be best in print. Hello there. And then, oh, the ink, by the way, I'm sorry, the ink is Montblanc Corn Poppy, and here, this looks like the same pen, but it's not the same pen, just the same material. Here's a Classic Pens LB5 with a Nagahara cross point, which is, in a way, also an architect, but this is very broad, so I kind of wanted to really put a lot of ink on the paper. Also Montblanc Corn Poppy, alright. And of course what I really wanted to do now is flip this page and see if there's any bleed through. Now, what you can see, fine writing, medium writing, broad writing, fine. Once you get to the 1.3mm italic, just have to, sorry, I have to navigate the tripod of the camera here. You may be able to see that there is, you start to get some feathering. You see it here in the L and the A, for example. I would say the same thing applies to the Pelikan. It's not terrible. I have seen paper that feathers a lot worse, but there definitely is some feathering here. B.R.E. brown, even in flex, behaves admirably, of course, right? And here we have the very broad Montblanc Corn Poppy, or Montblanc Corn Poppy in a very broad nib. And as you can see, there's no feathering, so it will definitely vary a bit from ink to ink, but now what I really want to see is the bleed through. As you can see, fine, medium, broad writing, no issue. The 1.3mm italic definitely bleeds. The Pelikan green bleeds a bit as well. The B.R.E. brown, nothing. And the Corn Poppy, nothing. Now, I have already done my homework, of course, and I've already played around with this. So I wrote this, okay, in the same green Pelikan ink, flexing to the max, like really pushing this nib as hard as I could. And as you can see, in that point, there is quite a bit of bleed through, right? You can see it. So there is that. So what I wanted to say, and kind of what I said at the start, is the paper, it's very good, it's not perfect. It's not perfectly fountain pen friendly, but you have to start doing pretty excessive things for it to start bleeding. Either a very broad nib, which is also very wet, or real flex writing. And if you put this much ink on the page, you really need to have exceptional paper to deal with that. So there is that. So in all, what do I like, what do I not like about this notebook? I think it has really cool features. I like those tabs. I like that Dingbats system. I think it's kind of cool. Another thing that I had not yet pointed out, but the company is very quote-unquote green. They're very environmentally friendly, which I think is very cool as well. You can read the whole story on their website. Which is really nice. They use degradable materials, etc. So that's really cool. I like the size of the notebook, just a tiny bit bigger than A5. I think it's very nice. It's still very carryable. I think it will fit most bags. But you do have a nice amount of paper and you have enough space to write on. I hate tiny notebooks where you don't have space. It is dots, and as far as I can tell, it is dots only. I myself am not a huge fan of dots. I don't particularly dislike them either. I prefer just a very traditional rule, like simple lines on the page, but that's just me. I know a lot of people like dots. The paper is by no means terrible. I think it is actually very good, but as you can see, it is not perfect. So bear that in mind. If you use very wet, very broad nibs, you may start to notice the issue a bit, unless you use B.R.E, which is so amazing that it can't go wrong. Hashtag sarcasm. So there you have it. Mo, thanks a lot for sending me this notebook. I really appreciate it. I hope this review has been informative to you. And that's all there's to it. I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye. It's gonna take a lot to drag me away from you. It's nothing that 100 men or more could ever do. I realized that was a missed opportunity that I utterly missed, so I had to do it. I'm so sorry. I hope you're alright. Bye!